It's
Welcome back to
time!
Reverse Mush Podcast. Harry Mack here as always. My co-host Ross. How we doing, Ross?
Harry, I am doing well. Great weekend. Getting ready for a nice week off from work. So, boy, am I doing well. But yeah, played some golf today. Shot like shit. You know, classic Sunday. Lost
Blame
all
the
my
cold.
football bets.
It's
It
December.
just, yeah, it was. It was actually so fucking nice out today.
The
But
ground was too hard. Winter rules.
well, honestly, what happened was 2 o'clock in the morning last night when we got done streaming. Realized that I didn't even have my golf clubs. So I used a golf club set that I've never touched before. It was a mess. But besides that, doing well, man. Excited to drop this interview, to be honest.
Hell yes, absolutely. Great interview today. The Monkey King, Jordan Leavitt, just made his UFC debut. KO slam over Matt Wyman. The boys are hot. We had to take a little time. We released Natan last week. Another awesome interview. Thanks to everybody at Syndicate for giving us the time of day for some reason or another. But yeah, I mean, we had to take a little bit of time and meditate after what happened. We had to take a little bit of time and just collect our thoughts and, stop cursing everything that we touch. But the curse is broken. There's no such thing as a curse anymore.
I've never heard of a curse.
No, now, as far as I'm concerned, the last fighter who we talked to won a $50,000 bonus.
That's all I know.
Yeah,
We're 1-0 this week.
and we're on a fight of the night streak. That's right.
We're trying to go 1-0 every week.
That's right.
But
if James Franklin wasn't such a fucking idiot, I would adopt his 1-0 bit.
Yeah, that's just the funniest football speak thing ever.
Facts. But aside from football, what a fucking card we had this weekend. UFC 256. It's tough considering whenever a card loses more fights than it ultimately winds up having on it, I think there's plenty of reason for concern. But I don't know about you. I would say it delivered in pretty much every way you could have hoped it to.
I was honestly looking at the card beforehand, and I sent you a text. I was like, I'm basically excited for every single fight we're going to see this card, and I can't remember a card like that from top to bottom. Where basically, I mean,
I'm still upset they pulled Fiziev from the main card for Dern. That's bullshit.
Yeah, but who cares when it was?
Yeah, no,
it was just everything we wanted.
Fight.
Everything we wanted. You saw, and also just something. I was thinking about this card that I can't remember a card like it was where not only did you have these new up-and-coming guys, these prospects that are getting the hype trains and that come out and they deliver, but you also had guys like Cub come in and do what he's been doing for all this time, now second all-time in featherweight wins.
Meanwhile, they're the UFC's tweeting out pictures of Cub. So I was worried about he was going to maybe retire or if he lost, maybe get cut. But it looks like they're down to promote the shit out of Cub for now and sell some tickets. Because I feel like Cub is still a draw.
And he looked great. It was fun to watch. It really was. Unbelievable card. The prospects delivered. Some of the veterans delivered, but every fight was just absolute violence. And the main event was just I don't even know where to start with the main event.
Insane. Did you see Figgy was apparently in the hospital with a stomach infection until 2 a.m. after the fight?
I did not see that, to be honest. I've been no phone all day today, basically.
That's good. I envy you. I'm jealous.
Yeah, that's what I do when I golf. No phone.
Smart man. Unplug.
Yeah.
But Figgy was apparently in the hospital after the fight with a stomach infection.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, he obviously looked fine, but I just couldn't believe that fucking fight. But we shouldn't start with the main course.
That's right.
Let's start with there was one early prelim, Chase Hooper. I will say, I mean, I know I have a feeling you're going to come in with a bunch of slander, and I
don't think there's any slander. I just still don't think the kid's ready to be in the UFC.
Well, I'm not going to dispute that, but I will say he's fun.
He is fun. His BJJ is fucking sick, but
and he's fun to
I just don't get why they rushed. They gave him that developmental deal, and I don't get why they rushed that. They let him fight 3 fights on a developmental deal where he didn't he went 2-0-1 and didn't really get.
We're also talking he lost the fight, and yes, he was losing 2 rounds, but he did lock up an unbelievable heel hook and.
He was definitely well on his way to losing that
Peter
fight.
Barrett, it honestly made me I know it's weird to laugh at something like this, but Peter Barrett's face, like he just looked so fucking pissed off that he had to tap. He was like, "I'm up 2-0. Like I do not want to tap," and it was
Yeah,
like
man, that was
he
tough.
just laughed. But yeah, I mean, you know what? For what it was I also, if you followed my picks, I took
That's right.
Hooper by sub. It was -110, so that was a nice little start to the night for me.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know how high Chase Hooper's ceiling ultimately is if like he can't even stand and bang with like bottom of the roster guys.
Yeah, nah, that's exactly what I said after the fight too. It's
Yeah.
like if he doesn't,
And he's still so young. He's so green.
and
So
he
like
can,
he needs to like fill out into his body too. He's got the body of like a 15-year-old.
and he can. I mean, if he can add decent striking, he could be a problem. But that's just
Right.
that's
But
going to take some time.
he's a ways away from that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun
but
fight
yeah,
though. Fun fight.
fun fight and a fun finish. I mean,
Absolutely.
at the end of the
The other
day,
prelim that really excited me was Fiziev Moicano.
yeah. I mean, that fight, that going into it, that was I think that was my biggest straight play
Yeah.
was Fiziev, and then Fiziev inside. Um, he's just a killer.
Bro, his hands are so fucking fast.
And
He gave fucking, I mean, he gave Moicano a 3-piece and just bop, down he goes, takes a big ground and pound shot. Apparently there are people bitching that was an early stoppage, which is insane to me. Did you want to see somebody die in the octagon?
there was there was just zero question, in my opinion, about the stoppage.
No.
And I watched the knockout like maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times since it happened, but
and Dana even said apparently Moicano was like, apparently he was down bad after the fight.
It
like,
looked
he was
like
out of it and just like, apparently he got his fucking brains scrambled. That's what
shot.
happened.
I mean, it's what it looked like happened.
Yeah.
But and I saw like a couple videos today that it was like, this is not sped up. Like it literally, the video does look.
Dude.
It looks like it's sped up.
It feels like the fastest punch I've seen
quick.
since the Garbrandt knockout.
He's fun, man. I'm excited.
Fiziev
and also
might be a problem at lightweight.
we should mention, just because Sarah Long are friends of the program,
Of course.
his call out after the fight was quite hilarious, saying he wants Ali Akinta to and go on the same card as Jan versus Aljo. So
Fuck yeah,
that'd be fun.
that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. But it looks like that's not going to happen. It looks like Al is still hurt. He's in physical therapy, unfortunately. Somebody he replied to Fiziev on Twitter and was like, I would love to do it, but doesn't look like it's gonna happen. And some random person was like, oh, you're such a pussy. Like you call out like top of the roster guys and fucking lose, blah blah blah. And he was like, I'm fucking hurt, you idiot.
Raging Al is
rules.
hysterical.
Great Twitter follow. And if you need a house, you know where to go. But that would be fun.
That prelim was unreal. Billy Q was disappointing, but it just Gavin Tucker in every facet
he looked
of
great.
The sport, he looked better than Billy Q, which was impressive. I mean, Billy Q's been hot. I think it was
Billy Q
in a row.
He's won pro boxing fights, so to like outpoint him and just piece him up on the feet.
It was the speed.
Impressive.
His speed, and he as soon as like the first half of the first round, Billy Q was kind of fighting his fight. And then as soon as Tucker figured out like where he wanted him at range and when he wanted it, once he started going first, it was really when the fights totally flipped. Once Tucker started making the first move and landing the first shot.
He was so fucking crafty and good,
and the takedowns
and with his movement, just the way he would dart in, take a step to the side, unload that fucking hook to the body, then look for the head and dart out. Just he like you said, he figured him out basically.
Yeah,
Billy Q got figured out in this fight, unfortunately, but he'll be back.
Absolutely. I mean, it was disappointing, but I'm sure, like you said, he will be back, and it's just interesting to see who he gets next now. Are they going to give him someone closer to the bottom and try to prop him up with a win? It's
a good question.
But then also, we should talk about Cub, because I fucking love Cub.
Nah, man, it was great. I think, unfortunately, Daniel Pineda is probably off the roster. This was his second stint in the UFC. He's 31 years old, so he's probably going to be one of the 60 cuts. But it's good to see Cub out there doing Cub things.
Not only just that, so many people were on Pineda. like this should be minus 200. This should be minus 250.
Yeah, I
Like,
just took the under because like I honestly I didn't feel great about Cub. Like I didn't want to pick against him, but I took the under and it cashed. So I who cares? I win.
yeah, that's a win.
It
But no,
cashed and we got some awesome violence. That's
it
really
was
can
fun,
you ask for anything else?
and it was just fun to be on. Like, it's just fun when you're rooting for a guy you like and you bet on him. You get like the
Of
double.
course, of course.
But
Double satisfaction.
then when it loses, it stinks. But you know what? It didn't.
Doesn't matter.
So we're just not gonna even talk about that. But
Exactly.
yeah, the
But
Cub was fun.
speaking of where we go from here fights, Cyril Gay and JDS, two guys that it's just where the fuck do we go from here? Because I think isn't that 4 straight losses now for JDS, I believe, all by knockout. And JDS gets a pretty penny to fight too, compared to $12,000 for a contender series guy. So to be honest, I kind of think JDS is on the chopping block, which sucks.
I would think so.
Hell of a fucking. You want to talk about hellbows from Gain? Goodness gracious.
He looked awesome. First round, it was just didn't rush anything. Just kind of waited. It was loading up, and then as soon as he wanted to end it, he did. I don't know who he fights next, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a heavyweight's such a mess. It's
I have
such a mess.
no idea.
They clearly wanted to propel him into some sort. Like this is very clearly this fight was a next step for him. Like it's a gatekeeper spot, but he got through it. So you'd assume he. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets somebody in the top 5. Honestly, maybe Volkov. But I think
Volkov
7.
Yeah, he's fallen down the ranks too, I think.
Like I could see Volkov because like they're still gonna do Blades Lewis at some point, right? Aren't they trying to make that fight still?
I think they said they're rescheduling that for early 2021.
Right.
I'm not sure. I mean,
heavyweight stinks.
What's good with Rosenstrike?
That's a good question too. But that could be a fun fight.
I mean, they both coming off wins against JDS.
Yeah, that's a fun like stylistic matchup too. Just like a brawler versus like Gain, who does have really good wrestling.
Yeah, I'm putting my bid in for that fight. I'm down for that one.
I like that. That would be fun. But yeah, unfortunately, I kind of think this might be the last we've seen of JDS in the UFC.
At this point, it's so hard to. I mean, if they're doing these cuts, it's like so hard to think who.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it from a business perspective.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
He's lost 4 fights. I think he makes like close to $200,000 a fight, maybe 250 even. I think his last disclosed was like 250, and that was like 3-4 years ago. So he's probably making like 250, 300K a fight. I don't really think Dana's down for that, man. Especially when you got.
I mean, not if you're losing.
Right, and for the first time, it feels like heavyweight like might have some nice talent coming up with like Chris Dawkins and Romanov and a couple of these guys. So just like, and you got the contender series pipeline. So I just, from a strictly business standpoint, I don't think it would make sense for them to just keep him around based on like what the company line is right now.
Yeah. I think you said it best. I don't have much to add. I don't see how, if they're doing these cuts, and a lot of the people that you would think they're going to cut are people that they're paying way too much to be like.
But the crazy thing is, they're not even paying.
Well, okay, I'm talking relative.
No, I know. It's just that it's not that they pay these guys too much. It's that these guys maybe get paid close to what they're worth, and the rest get paid fucking peanuts.
Very, very true. But you know what I was saying.
No, of course. But yeah, I think the sport would be a lot better if more guys were making closer to that end of the spectrum than fucking Jeff Neal working at Texas Roadhouse.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
but we talk about it.
Of course.
We harp on
another guy who might get cut in this next fight. Is Jacare gone? I think that's 3 losses in a, or maybe not 3 losses in a row for Jacare. Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I got it up.
But, I mean, crazy fucking finish from Holland.
Yeah, it's 3 in a row.
Yeah, Hermanson and Jan before that. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
just another, like you wanted to do, I guess we could do it now. What's just this little stock bet you want to try?
MMA stonks?
Yeah, stonks.
Whose stonks are on the rise and whose stonks are the lowest. But yeah. Let's workshop a new bit here. Basically, I want to try and figure out who on this card raised their stock the most and who lowered their stock the most. And it feels to me like the obvious answer for who raised their stock the most is it's got to be Oliveira, right? Has to be.
Um, yeah,
I think it has to be.
I guess.
We've like never really seen anyone do that to Tony before. Like, did you see that graphic of everybody's face after their fights with Tony?
Don't
And
you?
Oliveira is just like untouched.
But like, couldn't you also argue like Moreno? I
You
mean,
you could, but he was also already the number one contender.
yeah, but no one thought he was legit.
Like, yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. I think Charles Oliveira basically just like firmly
Yeah,
planted
no.
himself
If you're
into
picking
the
one person to
title.
say, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I think
that's
he
fair.
firmly puts himself in the title conversation at lightweight now.
I would
Maybe
say,
Oliveira Gagey next.
maybe. Yeah, I guess if they're doing.
Gagey says he wants to fight again before a potential lightweight title shot.
And well, who are they? Are they making? They're not making Connor
I don't think they
Dustin.
are, but so hear me out. The winner of that fight and then the winner of this fight, and there you got a lightweight championship on your hands.
Until
Mm,
Khabib comes back.
pretty much, but like, I kind of think Habib is like good. It sounds like he's like really fine on this. He bought his
Yeah, it's
fucking
gonna be
MMA
interesting.
promotion,
I don't
dude.
know.
Like,
I always think people like I always believe people, and I'm always dumb for believing people. So
yeah, I just don't think Habib is like Connor. You know, I don't think Habib retires as like a
no, it
way to
definitely
sell
wasn't a
fights.
bit. No,
Yeah,
it was definitely genuine. But sometimes like you leave and you're like, fuck.
yeah. But I
I kind
guess
of want to get back in there and get that belt back.
facts. But I guess as for who hurt their stock the most,
This is the tough one because there's some
this
people
is the
that are
tough
like
one.
all basically even.
I I think it's Tony,
Uh,
honestly.
yeah, I kind of didn't want to pick from that fight, but like,
I think it is. I guess maybe it's lazy to pick the same fight, but it was just. I mean, we were all expecting a fucking war, and Oliveira dominated him, like
I mean,
absolutely dominated him.
Tony looked like he was
He looked
done.
like he was checked out. Yeah,
But if you're
he
talking
just
about
couldn't.
stock, like I don't know. I mean,
But that's another interesting one. I floated the question when we were on stream last night. But does the UFC think about cutting Tony, man?
I think I personally think no way because they know Bellator will sign him, and
Like, sure, but I don't. But if they're not down to pay him the 350K he makes a fight, and Bellator is like, Dana might just be cool with that.
I don't know.
Especially because lightweight
I
is
think
so
Tony can still
stacked.
sell fights. Like he's one
I
if he
guess, but
like
where does he go from here? Because from here, right now, right this second, Tony Ferguson is a gatekeeper. Right this second.
for sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean he can't come out in his next fight and look rejuvenated. But he looks washed. I don't know. It's hard to.
I mean, he's
It's.
taken so much damage in
I
his.
mean that Gaethje fight. I think.
I think we're going to
I,
look back at that as a very unfortunate turning point in the career of Tony Ferguson one day.
I'm just so bummed we never got him, Habib. But
Sucks. So cursed. But we knew as soon as Gaethje won that fight, then Tony Habib was over. It was never happening.
yeah, no, that was. I mean, that was really the
That
end
was
of
the
that.
death blow to that.
Absolutely, 100%, without a question. But
But like this kind
it
of
was
makes me.
brutal. I mean,
But you know
he
what I'm
just.
thinking? I guess it's like different before Tony takes all that damage and everything. But like, if Oliveira was able to just fucking dump Tony every time he wanted to take him down, like, what is it? That is it better with Habib? Maybe we
Nah,
would have just gotten shocked, and that fight would have just been
well,
domination too.
but if we're doing like the what ifs, like Tony also was supposed to be fighting Habib, what 2 years ago,
Yeah, facts.
and even if it was the most recent one, it was still before getting that. He got his brain bashed in by Gaethje, dude.
Yeah,
That's
that
like,
was tough. That was
I mean,
really
that's
tough.
really I don't know. That was like one of the most brutal beatdowns I've seen.
Yeah, that was tough. That was like
It,
as bad as Habib and Barboza.
yeah, it actually, and Barboza Hooker was also fucking brutal. It's a
Yeah.
fun fight. I gotta rewatch. So I'm just gonna jump to the next one because I have to. I really need to rewatch this fight. But holy shit, this flyweight title, Figgy Moreno. Uh, talk about
Unreal.
the reason you love the sport. I mean,
Absolutely. This is a fight that you show somebody who you're like trying to pill on MMA.
and the craziest part is it was the flyweight division. And there's so
Yeah,
many, like,
the flyweights get a lot of disrespect, but
they really do.
let's see a fucking two heavyweights go out for 5 rounds and throw fucking 250 strikes each. Let's see how that looks.
And Moreno's story is just awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
He deserved every bit of that draw. It was such a tough fight to score. That point deduction was
Yeah, well, if Moreno
interesting.
had pulled out that third round, then like he would have won with the point deduction.
Yeah.
But I think the draw was the right score. With
There was
the
no way
point
to pick
deduction.
a winner. There
With
was
the point
no
deduction.
with the
Without the
yeah,
point deduction, yes, Figgy wins that fight. 100%.
100%. Then
100%.
then there's not much question. But
Yeah, that was a war, though. I mean,
he just
Moreno's
took
got a
a.
fucking chin, dude.
I don't
We've
think that
seen
guy
what
will ever
Figgy's
get knocked
done.
out.
We've seen what Figgy's done to all the flyweights, and I guess maybe he wasn't at 100% if he was sick and in the fucking hospital after the fight all night, and maybe that's part of him gassing a little bit. But what a fucking fight, and I'm glad we're gonna get it again.
Like I'm like speechless about this fight because it really was just one of those fights where it was like we got two of them this year now because we were like, oh, it has to be fight of the year, but Wiley Joanna
Yeah,
was I don't know
that's
which one,
close. I don't know how you pick between those two.
but
That's
I
fucking
just
tough.
that fight was just genuinely just an absolute fucking brawl for 25 minutes
Yep.
nonstop 25
Yeah.
minutes.
Moreno took some shots that have finished basically every guy in that division.
Both those guys I think just deserve a ton of fucking respect and credit
Yeah,
by everyone in the fight world.
absolutely.
And
Figgy's so
especially
fun, man.
2 weeks. They are 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, they
3 weeks.
both fought 3 weeks ago. Same card.
And yeah, huge fucking props to Figgy for defending his title on 3 weeks' notice. Like
Yeah,
that's not something we see, and that's
that's a,
awesome. That rules. Like active champions are what we all want in this sport.
yeah, that's what it's all about. And I love the fact that Moreno stepped in there with I know every fighter, no one's going in there thinking I'm going to lose, but he went in there with the full intentions of winning that fight.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's scrapped like a motherfucker, man.
He might have been one of my new favorite fighters.
Yeah, I feel that.
That was
Figgy, I'm just glad Figgy had saved the flyweights, but realistically, I saw Mighty Mouse said that he's hanging it up, he's done at flyweight, and he's gonna retire with one. But goddamn, do I want Figgy Mighty Mouse so bad?
I don't think you do want that, to be
I
honest.
do. I mean, I understand just because like it's not the Mouse in his prime, but I still
Dude,
want it.
I think it would be depressing because I think Figgy would kill him at
Like,
this point of his career.
like maybe, but Mighty Mouse is still a fucking animal, dude.
Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, it's not. It's hard to say, I guess, but
He's still in my mind the greatest flyweight in UFC history.
to me, it just totally reminds me of Anderson versus Izzy. Like it's just the same feel for me.
Like yeah, but I mean, Mighty Mouse is not right now. Mighty Mouse is not nearly as washed as Anderson is.
Yeah,
lot less miles.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not making the argument Mighty Mouse is still in his prime by any means.
No, he's definitely.
I would still. I mean, I think Mighty Mouse gives him. I mean, obviously we just got a great fight last night with Moreno, but we know the flyweight division isn't super strong up at the top. Like it's probably going to be Askarov who gets the next shot after this next Moreno fight. So like,
I can't wait for them to run this back. I won't be shocked if it's soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be super shocked. I wouldn't. Isn't Dana? Aren't they trying to do like an international fight week esque thing in January on Fight Island?
I don't know, to be honest.
Maybe I'm getting the month wrong, but I saw they're working on something like that for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but overall, like I said before we started, just an incredible card, top to bottom.
Yeah,
can go on for hours about it, but I think we should give the people what they're here for.
You're right. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of cards that you pay your money for, and you get to the end of it, and you're like, probably could have streamed that one illegally and felt fine about it, but I felt like I got every dollar's worth last night for some.
I agree.
But you're right.
100%.
Let's not keep the people waiting any longer. They're not here for us. They're here for the Monkey King, Jordan Leavitt, hot prospect in the UFC right now, baby. Maybe gonna fight. Maybe gonna fight real soon. You saw the teaser
Hopefully.
we posted. Might be fighting next week. We don't know. We'll
Fingers
see.
crossed. Fingers crossed.
But enjoy the interview, everybody. Make sure you follow me at Harry__Mac, at Ross at Ross_Bullet, at the Bookie's Basement. Make sure you follow Jordan on all his socials. Those are plugged in there. Subscribe to the pod, rate, review. I know it's annoying. I know I hate myself for it, but apparently that's what you got to do. We're all putting in the work.
Yeah, and make sure you do it because we did take a little bit of time off. We're back on track here. We got a
We're
lot of
gonna try and
interview.
get a more consistent schedule for the people. We're thinking a little Monday Friday deal, a little bookend.
Don't just start naming dates and shit because
No, but that's what we got to do. I got to keep us accountable because otherwise
yeah,
we're just
but
gonna no. That's what
all
we're doing.
right, whatever. Make sure you fucking subscribe and stay tuned because we do have a lot of interviews lined up coming in. We're gonna get back on track here and keep it coming here. It's early 2021 UFC, the last card coming up next weekend. There's a lot of fucking bangers coming.
That's right.
And also, I need to say, huge thanks to Jordan for coming on again. Not every day you get a message from a fighter after their UFC debut victory.
No, you'll hear about it in the interview.
So
quite the
big
surreal moment.
thanks to Jordan and yeah, enjoy everyone.
Absolutely. All right, welcome back to the Reverse Mush podcast. Harry Mack here as always, my co-host Ross, and a very special guest this week, coming off of his UFC debut, knockout of the night, 8-0 now as a pro, Jordan Leavitt, the Monkey King. How are we?
I think from what you just described, I'm doing pretty well.
It's a good point.
Hard to not be.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry, one thing you just didn't add in the intro. We should let the people know our first recurring guest here on the Reverse Mush podcast.
Very honored. Very honored.
Prestigious honor.
We're huge one day. Jordan's going to be our guy.
Hopefully. I will say, yeah, first off, of course, thank you for joining us again. But you winning your UFC debut and DMing my dumb ass at like 2 a.m. afterwards was a very surreal moment for me.
Crazy.
Very cool, surreal moment.
I was like, oh yeah, I told him I hit him up after my fight. I'm all about to go to sleep. I'm like, what up, guys?
Nah, that was awesome. And it is crazy because I think it was like probably about 4 months since we talked to you the first time. And you told us, you're like, hey, you guys reached out to me. I'll be hitting you guys back. Don't you worry. Man of his word right there. Man of his word right there.
There you go. And you laid out the plan. You said it was going to be probably December unless they called you up on something short. And it all went according to plan, man. I mean, speaking of according to plan, I guess we'll just jump right into it. That slam was, oh my God, that was perfection. Just beautiful, violent perfection. And nobody can even call it, you can't call it fluky or anything. I mean, perfectly executed. You set it up technically. You got the forearm right on the chin there and just bop, dropped him like a bag of dirt.
Yeah. Definitely not lucky. I mean, you don't practice moves like that, but I'm not sure if it would sound bad to say I meditated on that move. I've been thinking about that move for like years. And I'm like, someone pulls guard on me. Not that they would. I would totally just slam them, put my forearm across their face. And I did it. So, law of attraction, picture that stuff, it'll happen.
Beautiful. You got to manifest it. You got to put the energy into the universe. But, I mean, yeah. Oh, sorry, Ross.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
But, yeah, I mean, fantastic fight. You, Matt Wyman. Unfortunately, Matt got cut from the roster today, which is, you always hate to see that. But it looks like there's a lot of cuts happening right now. So I did actually want to ask you, what's kind of your opinion on the UFC seemingly kind of cutting bait with some higher level talent, or not higher level, but kind of bigger name guys that make a lot more money, in favor of kind of the Contender Series pipeline they got going right now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting pivot they're doing from a business perspective. Getting rid of a lot of their older names who maybe they have maybe 2 or 3 more years left in them, and they're trying to double down on the new talent. I'm still surprised by how many people they signed off of Contender Series. Some weeks, there was just no rhyme or reason to it. He would just sign oh, boom, you're in. And it's like, dude, he won a decision. And then,
yep.
I think this is kind of their plan from the beginning. They lost a bit of change this year from the the COVID. So I think they're trying to double down on a cheaper but possibly more worthwhile alternative for next year.
Right. It's definitely frustrating to me, though, to see them say, like, oh, there's no money to pay the fighters, when in August they announced that they're buying, like, 10 acres of land in Las Vegas and building a mega hotel. It's a little frustrating.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
well,
But, I'm not
we're
trying
the
to get you in
fans. But
trouble
yeah,
with my
exactly.
opinions.
I was just gonna say these might be our opinions, Harry.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'll get off the rails real
can't-
quick on that. I don't want to get you in trouble with the promotion. Heavens no.
They love me now. You can say what you want. I'm joking.
yeah.
That's
Now
right.
they know. Now they know. But yeah, I mean, I guess just coming into that fight, I mean, what was going through your head? Debut time. I mean, what were you going at?
Dude, it was a roller coaster. So first off, I get like this little ESPN YouTube special thingy where they're just like, meet the Monkey King. And as I'm filming that for 2 days, I'm like, this is totally undeserved. Like, I am literally still a nobody. Got my check mark like 2 months ago. So, and then they post it, and I like most of it. I'm a little bit of a dweeb in it. And that's okay. I'm a dweeb, but they
We love it.
they post it, and I'm like, holy crap! Why did I get all this attention? Gave me some anxiety. I'm like, what if I just go out there and get knocked out now? After all this hype's given for me, I'm just gonna fizzle out. So the video made me super nervous when I wasn't nervous at all.
Wow.
and then like, in quarantine for fight week, and weight's coming off good, and I'm like, oh, but what if I get knocked out? I'm like, at least I'm on the prelims, man. Like, no one pays attention to the prelims anyway. And then 3 people got to get the COVID, and then they're like, never mind, your first fight on the main card. But when that happened, I was almost just like, this is a gift from God. All these things are aligning for me to perform in an amazing fashion. And I was like, oh no, this is my night. Like, stage is being set. So as soon as I got on the main card, which is completely ludicrous and it totally was undeserving, it kind of took away all of my anxieties. I'm like, oh no, there's no way this book's a tragedy, man. This is gonna be a triumph. So yeah, it went pretty well.
Oh yeah, man. And so did they just call you up like, oh hey Jordan, by the way, you're on the main card now?
They didn't. Like, we're in the limo, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not fighting until 7. And I was like, but why? Like, I'm the third fight. It's like, oh no. You're the first fight on the main card now. And they just told us when we got there. So we're there for 4 hours just letting it stew. My family was all prepared to watch me fight like an hour and a half earlier. And they're like, what's happening? And I'm like, went on Facebook. I'm fighting on the main card. See y'all. Boom. And then turned off my Facebook so I can get in the zone.
Right.
Like, it was crazy. I mean, super blessed because it gave me a bigger stage for, my first and only knockout. Yeah, and it's got a lot of attention since then. So very thankful.
Not a bad way to get the first one. But yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you, I think the first time we interviewed you in August, I think you had like 2,000 followers on Instagram, something like that. And then after, I saw Dana posted the knockout and tagged you in it. And then I clicked on your profile yesterday. I was like, holy shit, he's got 16,000 followers. Where did that come from?
Right? I posted like a quote, and it's like 300 likes in 2 minutes. I was like, what the hell? Like, what is happening? Is this what fame is? Like, this is strange. Just today, I went to In-N-Out, and the lady working there was like, oh my gosh, you're a beast. And I'm like, oh, what? She's like, I recognize you from your eyes. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, wearing my mask.
Oh, because you got your mask on.
Wow, man. That's crazy.
It was pretty wild. Never thought that happened to me. So even if that's the only person that ever recognizes me, worth it.
Absolutely. No, that's, I mean, I can't
hard
imagine
work paying off.
But exactly. You put in that work, you get that chance. And it's I mean, some people go in there and they kind of shell up and they can't handle that moment. Some people go in there and they handle it exactly the way you did. And typically those are the ones that have long-term success. So we're happy for you, man.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
man.
And yeah, anyone who says that they don't enjoy a moment like that is lying. I mean, you're very literally being recognized for all your hard work. Who wouldn't want that?
I know, by a total stranger. I'm like, holy crap, this is my first tweet. Like, I've tweeted like 5 times, like, this is a tweet moment.
This is a tweet right here. That's funny.
Meanwhile, I realized I lost it in the brackets here, but I did mean to ask you. I think I saw a quote from you that you said this was the first time you felt like you looked like an athlete on the scale.
Oh yeah, man. I hit those weights for like 2 months, and I was like, ooh, looking a little swole out there. I did my interviews without a shirt on. I'm like, oh no, I'm showing off this hood. Like I've had dad bod my entire life. I'm like, I still got a dad bod, but it's like I went from that dad bod that plays volleyball like every other week for his little league to like the dad that sometimes does curls in the garage.
Yeah, that's a big step up, honestly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just pumping that iron. Meanwhile, I was surprised you didn't walk out in a onesie. I was expecting a little something there.
No, want me to tell you the sad part about my fight? I walked out to AC/DC's Big Balls. Okay, total joke song, and it was on commercial break. But I had everyone cracking up. I had Dana cracking
Uh,
up. I had Bruce Buffer cracking up,
The
and I kept a
disrespect.
straight face the entire time. So I'm hoping that tape comes out because
yeah, we
my
need that.
walkout was my favorite part.
Definitely need that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
your walkout,
you didn't
your
leave all
walkout
that
was
long in the octagon to
uh,
make too many memories.
right. I was just gonna say the walkout was probably was longer than
You
the
know,
fight. But yeah, I mean, speaking of the quickness of the fight, any idea or any word on how quick you're gonna get back in there?
So my daughter gets here like late January, early February. So if I don't
Very
get,
exciting.
I guess
Very
there's a
nice.
possible.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I guess there's a possible chance of me hopping on to December 19th if there's any fights for me there. But if it's not that weekend, basically after my daughter's here, it's all fair game. I'll fight after that.
Very
So maybe
nice.
March, April. But hoping, putting this into the universe, the ether. Hopefully something happens for the 19th. That'd be pretty tight.
That
Finish
would
the
be
year with
awesome.
100K instead of 50K. That
That would be
There you
nice.
go. Yeah,
That doesn't hurt.
that's the mindset right there. And also, um, I was just gonna I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, that was me just being a schmuck. But you said so maybe December 19th, maybe after your daughter's born. Any opponents you have in mind?
No, I can't really think of anybody. I was kind of hoping with my shenanigans, somebody would call me out and save me the trouble. But
Hey, they might.
yeah, they saw that and they're like, okay, why risk it though? Like, what's Anthony gonna do?
No, thank you.
Yeah, they're like, well, let somebody else knock him out first before I call him out. But yeah, I'm down for anybody. I was at the exact perfect bottom of the rankings until this Saturday, and I'm still pretty near the bottom. So whoever's above me or whoever's below me, just want to get out there and then have a fight that's maybe a little longer than 22 seconds. But we'll see.
Hey, if it's the same result, I don't think you can be too upset about it.
It's true. Yeah, so it was only the 14th KO slam in UFC history, I believe.
The 12, man.
12. I can't. Numbers aren't my thing, clearly.
Yeah. And I tied for second fastest, so I'm like, pretty cool. Nice little stat there.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Gotta
thing,
etch your name in the book somewhere.
especially on the debut. That's not too shabby.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love that though, but I mean, yeah, 155. There's a lot of killers at 155 in the UFC.
Yeah.
So I'm sure whoever whoever Mick and Sean Shelby have in mind for you, I have a feeling we'll get a fun fight out of it.
Yeah, all those killers. That's why I'm not calling anybody out.
Politicking, you're
Yeah.
learning quicker than most.
Let them
Oh,
come to you. Let them come to you with the battle.
Yeah.
exactly. No need to get overzealous. Why not?
So
So
so I was just gonna ask. So after a fight for you, I mean, I get like you said, hopefully a fight pops up 19th card, which would be next weekend already. Um, if you weren't, I mean, are you back in the gym training already? Are you still taking time off?
Yeah, I was. I went back. I sparred yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I've always trained the day after my fights, or at least come into the gym. So yeah, I sparred yesterday. Was feeling good, feeling in shape. Well, as in shape as you can feel after eating an entire pecan pie. But like, felt pretty good out there. I'm hoping. Yeah, trying to always stay ready. Like I never take time off.
Gotta
Gotcha.
keep at it. Well, we were talking yesterday to your teammate Natan Levy, and we were talking all about just the grind Syndicate has going right now. It seems like there might be a new wave of Syndicate MMA in the UFC.
I know, and all in the same kind of general weight class and everything. Natan's great. He's a fun time, and I can't wait for his debut. I can't wait to help him prepare for that. And yeah, 2020 was a great year for Syndicate. Like one of the best
Absolutely.
years we've had on record. So 2021 is going to be better. Hope we're going to get a few more wins in the UFC, get a few knockouts, slam some people into the ground.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, love that. All right, well, I'm looking at my notes. I think that's about it here. We don't have to take up too much of your time. You're very very generously giving us. Is there
Yeah, I'm
anything
sure it's been a
you wanna
crazy
plug
week
before
for
we
you.
go?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. It was nice talking to you guys again.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that, man.
Everyone, just make sure you give this man a follow. Make sure you start following him now because he's going up.
Yeah,
Stocks are going up.
I won't notice you after my next win, so you may as well follow me now.
Exactly. It's it's JoJo Monkey King on Twitter and Instagram, or no,
Um,
Monkey King UFC on
yeah,
Instagram.
Monkey King UFC on Instagram,
There
Mr.
we go.
JoJo Monkey King on Twitter. They told, polling said if I said Monkey King UFC, I'd get more followers. Who knows though?
Hey, you got to listen to the people
The
that
science
are
of
in
social
charge of that.
media.
Yeah, analytics, baby. All right,
Love it.
Jordan, we appreciate it, man. Good luck to you. Good luck with the child on the way, and we'll be in
Thank you.
touch.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much for joining us, man.
of course. I'll see you guys after the next one.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, I hope so.
All right. Have a good one.
Be
You
good,
too.
man.
See ya.